Hey, this is Dennis. I want to get in the Bible study. We're in the book of John, chapter 6. We're going to start with verse 16. And when even was now come, meaning the evening time had come, his disciples went down into the sea and entered into a ship and went over the sea towards Capernaum, and it was now dark, and Jesus was not come to them. So Jesus wasn't with them. It was just disciples. They was out in this ship in the sea. And the sea arose by reason of a great wind that blew. And if you've ever been out on a boat in a bay or out in the ocean, when that wind gets blowing, it can get rough quick. And when they had rowed about 25 or 30 furlongs, they see Jesus walking on the sea. So they're out there rowing, and they see Jesus come walking on the water and drawing nigh to the ship, and they were afraid. But he said unto them, It is I, be not afraid. It's me, it's Jesus. Don't be afraid. Then they willingly received him into the ship, and immediately the ship was at the land whither they went. Now, this is what it blows my mind right here. This is in the King James Bible. And when it says here, when Jesus got in the ship with them, immediately, boom, the ship, all the disciples and Jesus were immediately transported to the place that they wanted to go. I believe it. It's in the Bible, I believe it. And I want to say that Jesus is the true Superman, the true superhero, you know. When I first read that, it made me think about, what was that? It was Captain Kirk. Watching that old movie, and he'd be down on some planet, and he'd get on there and say, beam me up, Scotty. And Scotty would beam him up into the mothership. But see, that was all Hollywood. That was fake. And all these superheroes that Hollywood has come up with, it's all fake stuff. But this is true. And we see, number one, he was walking on water. Jesus immediately transported all the disciples himself in the ship right to where they wanted to go. And I wrote down some other things here that we can know about Jesus. Jesus can read people's thoughts. He can read their mind. I've read throughout the Bible here where he perceived and knew what they were thinking. Anybody else can do that. He knows what's in your heart. You can't hide nothing from Jesus. He rose a bunch of people from the dead. Ain't nobody else out here raising people from the dead. He can heal the sick. He can fly through the air. I remember when after he died, and he came back to life 3 days later, and he stayed around, I believe, with the people about 40 days, and there was a bunch of the people was gathered up with him. And Jesus just took off and flew up through the sky into a cloud. Can suddenly appear. I remember reading after he rose from the dead, the disciples were in this room, and Jesus just, boom, just immediately appeared in the room with them. Jesus made heaven and earth. Ain't nobody can do that. Jesus did it. He made heaven and earth and everything in them. Jesus can save people from their sins. Ain't nobody else can do that. Nobody. None of your Hollywood superheroes. And Jesus can give you eternal life in heaven if you accept him. And there's nobody else can do that. Buddha can't do it. Allah can't do it. Jesus is the only way. Well, I was off on a rant. Let's go ahead and finish here. But think about it. The day following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there, save that one whitherto his disciples were entered, and Jesus went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone. Howbeit there came other boats from Tiberias nigh unto the place where they did eat bread, and after that the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping, they also got into boats, and came to Capernaum seeking for Jesus. Well, God bless y'all. Walk with God one day at a time.